So fast forward a little bit. The through line is your drawing. You're a visual artist. You go from Saskatoon. You attend art school in Calgary for visual arts, right? For painting. You were painting.
Right.
You start also playing in some cafes in Saskatoon musically. Then you end up in Toronto. How did music become the career?
Because I got pregnant. I was the only virgin in art school, right? You've been holding on to this precious thing, and I just kind of stupidly let it go.
One weekend in Toronto.
You know, as Jean, my choreographer, says, you were bamfed. No, it was in Banff.
Oh, it was in Banff.
Right? You were bamfed, and so I got caught out immediately, and so I had to create a smokescreen. The music was not of interest. This is a trick that fate, because I didn't know I had the gift. I hadn't started to write. I was just a folk singer.
And how did music become the smokescreen rather than painting?
Well, because I'm going to quit art school. You know, the pretense to protect my parents was that, you know, I was having trouble with the profs. I was in debate with them all the time. They didn't like the way I dressed. Again, you had to go into a box. You know, to be a painter, you had to wear there was a uniform. It didn't allow for individuality. And they were prejudiced against people with hand-to-eye coordination. They were all abstractionists, and I didn't care for that pocket of painting.
Even in art school, there were too many rules for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was total conformity. And I was an honor student there, and I've talked to other students later that even though they were hard on me and always on me, you know, that they used my work as examples. Well, I guess because I became famous that they used it. But I was an honor student, but I was docked because I'm no good at mornings, and I would go to Edmonton and sing on the weekends, come home tired and miss Monday morning. So tardiness, which should not have come into play for an artist, a real artist anyway, was the reason that they were going to dock me, was for absenteeism. I said, well, why? I got my work in, I just didn't get it in by the clock exactly,
So music becomes the smokescreen. You go to Toronto, and by the way, of course, you have the child. You put the child up for adoption. You find your daughter many years later, and we've heard some of that.
But let's clear up something that people
Please.
assume erroneously, and I see it written again and again and again, that that I gave up my daughter to further my career. This is so wrong. There was no career. My music at that point, first of all, I was just a folk singer. It was just, there was no ambition. There was no, I had a nice voice, I guess. I played okay, but there was no real gift that, it was just something that was happening and was going to die out soon. It was a way to get money to smoke, and to have a pizza and go to a movie.